Now, my first guest is a true American success story, Robert Unanue. His family migrated to the United States from Spain in the 20th century, and they made a name for themselves selling Spanish food. The brand, known as Goya, is the largest U.S. Hispanic food company, worth more than $1 billion. It's a true American success story, and Goya Foods president and CEO Robert Unanue joins me now. Bob, first and foremost, I appreciate you coming on with us because I think it's your family's story that is the quintessential story of America's success and why people around the world still look to us in our capitalistic system as a beacon, if you will, as a shining light. Just tell us a little bit about your story.
First of all, Charles, I'm very grateful to you. When I made a comment at the White House saying that we were blessed to have the president, Donald J. Trump, as a president in our country, as a builder, one of the people who immediately came out and defended Goya was Charles Payne. And, you know, you had more information on us than I even had. And I saw you reacting, and I was really grateful for the way you defended us and you defended our company. We're a company who started 85 years ago, 1936, which is the beginning of the Spanish Civil War. My grandfather, at 18 years old, left Spain in 1904 it left economies that were in shambles in Europe, along with Italians and Spaniards and others. He left on a steamship for Puerto Rico and eventually made his way to the United States. At age 49, 50, he started the company following the immigration, not only of Spaniards, but of all Latinos into this country. The United States is the second largest Latino country in the world, and many people left their countries for various reasons, economic or political. In the case of Cuba, political, Venezuela, things like that, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic could be more financial reasons. But we left for opportunities for capitalism, for the ability to prosper and to, you know, make something of our lives.
Right.
And that is the country that he went to.
Well, you certainly have done that and a whole lot more. I want to kick off the questions because, Bob, a lot of people want to hear from you. The first one it comes from Lisa. Let's take a listen.
Hi, this is Lisa from Florida. As a teacher in my early 50s, I was wondering about investments and whether I should keep them conservative. I'm concerned about the new tax policies that will be happening with the upcoming administration. Also, wondering if you think capitalism can survive. Thank you.
All right, so I'll take the investment side of this, right? Lisa, by the way, I think 50 is too young, is really too young not to be exposed to some of the best companies in this country, right? These companies that are seeing outside growth really ultimately bodes well for their shares. Also, for folks out there who are too conservative, last year investors lost $600 billion on just 8 blue chip names, right? 8 blue chip names, 40% of the S&P was down for the year. There's some great new industries, great new businesses, all these American companies that are changing the world. They are emerging, so I think it's smart for any investor to have exposure to them. As far as capitalism, I think it's going to survive. But, Bob, I think capitalism must make some major tweaks. You're in the midst of it. What do you think?
Yes, capitalism as we know it today, I think, you know, you have antitrust laws, the big corporations. The big corporations are getting bigger. Technology, high tech is taking over. There's 15.6 million people in the restaurant business, and those people are out of work for the most part. You have states. The fact is our capitalism, our democracy has 50 states, and all operate differently. Lisa's very lucky she's in Florida. I'm in Texas. Everybody is fleeing to these states that are more focused on capitalism and freedom of speech, freedom to do business. California is fleeing to Texas. The Northeast is fleeing to Florida. And so she's in a good spot. But, you know, that is one thing that is a firewall between us going completely socialist by a majority of states that are with these socialist ideas shutting down businesses. While governors should be attracting businesses to their states, they're actually saying, you know, we only want the big guys who don't really need to work, that can work virtually, keep keep out the small businesses and crush the small businesses. And that's one thing that President Trump did. He refused to shut down the small businesses. And, unfortunately, enough states decided they want to shut them down, and those states are doing horribly. The states that are doing well.
Bob, you've been embroiled, and now it's become sort of an infamous war of words with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And then, of course, not long ago, you called her Goya's Employee of the Month. This after she retweeted a video of you and President Trump saying she was going to make her own adobo seasoning rather than buy yours. Now, I want to say this encounter, right, this sort of fight, it's a reminder that the efforts to preserve capitalism in this country, it's not new. It's gone on for more than a century. And I got to tell you, at times it's felt like capitalism is losing. In fact, an actor named Ronald Reagan felt that way, too. And he channeled it in a famous speech in 1964, which actually launched him into the political stratosphere. Take a listen.
The full power of centralized government. This was the very thing the Founding Fathers sought to minimize. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. They also knew, those Founding Fathers, that outside of its legitimate functions, government does nothing as well or as economically as the private sector of the economy. The Cold War will end through our acceptance of a not undemocratic socialism.
A not undemocratic socialism. Bob, who's going to be the Ronald Reagan of capitalism today?
Well, I believe the Ronald Reagan of capitalism today is Donald J. Trump. Unfortunately, he's being illegitimately, in my opinion, removed from office. He was for the working class. He's for God. He's for family, for life. We need a reason to get up in the morning: God, family, and work. We're taking away our purpose. There's states that want to take away our reason to get up in the morning, take away our spirit, take away our freedom of speech.
Right.
And, you're going to find these bastions of liberty in states like Texas, Florida, and others. Unfortunately, they're in the minority, whereas the majority of this country believes in freedom and capitalism and democracy.
Bob, you have a private company. What we've seen in the last 48 hours, 48 hours, a lot of publicly traded companies that have taken swift action, not just against President Trump, but a lot of other Republicans. They're not going to make donations or contributions. You could call them investments or bribes if you want. And a lot of people also hearing talk of maybe even actions against people who just simply voted for President Trump. Is this the kind of thing that will help or hurt capitalism?
It definitely hurts. And we're a company that, this year we decided to give we usually give every year. We do give every year. This year it ballooned to 4 million pounds of food. We decided to stay open. We're an essential business, but all businesses are essential.
Right.
And if we close down the business, we close down the economy, we all die. I mean, we stayed open courageously, and we've had the best year of our in history. Thanks to AOC and thanks to yourself for supporting us.
Well,
but we've had the best a year in our history.
I do find it remarkable on the same day that President Trump is being impeached for the second time in Washington, D.C., that you continue to stand by him, understanding that there are going to be a lot of slings and arrows coming your way. You feel that strongly about what's happening in this country. You really believe we're going down the wrong path?
We've made a hard turn to the left. We've got the iceberg of communism ahead of us. Communism on paper works out great, except that it's always a few that want to control. It's not about, all animals being equal. Some animals are more equal than others. And this is the path we're taking. We're being tried to be controlled by a small group of people that are going to control the masses.
And Bob, I do want to let the audience know, in 2018, you were the #2 food company in terms of social influence and community support. So, although I know you have a fond affection for President Trump, you also were a partner with President Obama, Michelle Obama, and a lot of initiatives. You've done a lot for the public, no matter who was in office.